Okay, so if you don't know me, my name is Abby and I'm a bookish content creator and I've been posting on Bookstagram for a long while now. Book talk when I'm in the mood for it, and then I've posted on BookTube before and then I've tended to delete it later on for one reason or another. I've been stuck creatively for a hot minute, and I feel like part of that is because I find myself just posting to post and not necessarily posting with kind of the vision and the creative idea that I had for my pages in the first place, which was to kind of create a digital diary log of my favorite books and just my life in general and kind of like tying them all together, and that has just not been happening. And I thought a really fun way to kind of get back into that would be to just start clean and kind of catch you up on what I've been reading so far this year and what I thought about each book. So we're gonna do that today. Starting with all of the books that I read in January, which this year in general, I've been reading more than I think I have the past couple of years, which is saying something because I usually read a lot anyway. So first up, the first book I read this year, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it at all. It was Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries. I had such high hopes for this book and I just could not get past the style that it was written in. And normally I wouldn't even want to keep a book that I didn't enjoy as much as I did not enjoy this one, but I just think the cover is so cute and I'm like a sucker for the fairy vibes, so I've kept it even though I did not enjoy it. This one's tricky because I don't really have a lot to say about it. I couldn't get into it, it didn't pull me in at all, and that's that. But it was a shame because I love everything about the way the book looks aesthetically. I just hate that it wasn't a match contextually. So yeah, I gave this one 2 stars, and that's that. I am gonna see what I gave. I can't remember on some of the ratings. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, Wild Eyes by Elsie was my second read of the year. I loved this one. Skylar and Weston were everything to me. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I love everything about the small town cowboy romance vibes. Elsie I think was the first author that kind of got me into the trendy cowboy romance genre in general, and this one was just a really fun way to do it because Skylar, the female main character, she is a movie star. No, pop star. She's a country singer with a recent streak of bad press, and she's trying to find peace, and she's in this small town. And Weston is kind of known as the town bachelor, like he's a huge flirt, but you know that vibe, and he all of a sudden has an instant soft spot for somebody, and you see that grow over time. I'm not talking insta love because it's not really that, it's almost kind of friends to lovers actually. There is instant attraction and the tension was just really good. This one is fairly spicy. Yeah, so good. So good. Next up, I started my reread of the Empyrean series. So I actually listened to all of these on graphic audio this time around, but I did do a reread of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. It was an amazing sale and I couldn't help it, and it was just a lot quicker of a way for me to get a reread in ahead of Onyx Storm. So I've never listened to anything like that before. It was my first graphic audio, and let me just say, I think that might be what I need to stay interested in audiobooks. I'm trying to get more into audiobooks. I think it's a really fun way to kind of like get in some extra reading, and I've had a hard time prior to now finding a way to keep me hooked. And graphic audios might be the solution to that because I was definitely hooked by that. So then I had a little wait time before Onyx Storm released, and I read Plot Twist by Erin Rosa. The female main character is a romance author, but she's stuck creatively. She just can't find the inspo for it. Her love life's dry, like she's just stuck. And she basically sets out on this mission to go and kind of redate her past exes to find out why things did not work out with any of them. And in the process, it's also kind of like a self-discovery thing. She's like learning things about herself, learning things about the way she kind of treated her past relationships. Let me see what I gave this one. I also realized I did not say what I gave my rereads of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I gave Fourth Wing a 5-star, Iron Flame a 4-star. And then for Plot Twist, I ended up giving this one a 3-star. That's right, because while I thought the story itself was so cute, I found myself getting, I don't want to say bored, I wasn't really bored with it, but I think all of the potential that was there had my hopes really high, and I kept just thinking like, okay, like where's the I don't know, it was just missing something for me. And then after that, my second to last read of January was Onyx Storm. Onyx Storm, I don't know why, I know it's been out for months, but I still feel weird like saying too much. To me, it's always hard to write a review of a book that's in the middle of a series that's incomplete, because you don't want to spoil too much from earlier in the series for people who maybe haven't read any of it yet. This one picked back up for me actually from Iron Flame. I think I mentioned that I gave Iron Flame 4 stars. I gave Onyx Storm 4.5. I love the comparison that someone made. They said that Iron Flame is Xaden's love letter to Violet and Onyx Storm is Violet's love letter to Xaden, and I just love that so much. And I binge read it because I could not put it down, because I really do love this series. I just do. I just think it's so good. So that one was 4.5 stars. The next one that I read was actually a nonfiction book called In the Flow. This one's actually all about cycle syncing. It was something I became interested in at the beginning of this year. Not a lot of women are aware of the fact that our bodies just function very differently from men, and what that means on a hormonal level, and what that means as far as like maybe the best foods for you to be eating at any given time, the best ways to exercise at any given time. And I just thought this was a really cool concept. Okay, my camera died. It's fine, we're back. I was just gonna say that I ended up giving In the Flow 4 stars. Nonfiction I tend to always give either 3 stars or 4 stars. 4 stars is awesome, great, really enjoyed it, and I personally really connected to this particular nonfiction novel. So yeah. Then we get into February. I only read 4 books in February, which February is a shorter month anyway. The first book that I read in February, I really loved. So this is One to Watch. This one I think was actually pretty popular online when it first came out. I'm a sucker for reality TV shows, and One to Watch was a really cute premise to me. Our main character, Bia, is a social media influencer, and she's known for being really into fashion and for being a plus-size representative in the fashion world. She gets approached to basically star in what is essentially The Bachelorette. She's gonna go on the show, and all of these men are gonna compete to win her heart, and she's like, why would you want me? I'm not what most people would conventionally consider for this type of role. But she gets convinced to join. She goes on, and a lot of the story really is about her coming into her own, so it is a lot of self-discovery, but there is a love story tied in, and I don't want to get too much into it because it's hard to reveal details of the main love interest with a book like this without giving away who the actual one is, because there's so many competing for her heart, and there's a few that you kind of actually root for, that you really like at first. So yeah, I gave this one 4 stars. I thought it was really good. So next up is a book by an author that I knew personally through a job working with an author marketing and services company, and that would be The Duchess of Kokora by Nikhil Prabhala. This one was really cool. I actually didn't realize how similar the premises were between One to Watch and this one. Similar but different, because this one also involves a dating style competition, but it's not a reality show. It takes place in a fantasy world. Our main character, Farah, she is competing to win a prince's hand in marriage. She's not actually competing for the prince's hand. She's in the competition to win back her childhood sweetheart, who is also in the competition competing for the prince's man. So this one was really a unique premise. There's lots of magical elements in it. It's very much, I would say, a cozy fantasy vibe. It is YA. Also, the edges on this book, I don't know if you can see, are gorgeous. So yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars. Next we have one that was for some reason slightly controversial. It was Deepened by Ali Hazelwood. I really enjoyed it. The thing is, for me, this one wasn't like a crazy 5-star favorite, but it was by no means controversial like some people thought it was. I think I went into it almost expecting it to be way more intense and erotic than it actually is. Don't get me wrong, it is quite spicy. It wasn't like controversial spicy. I don't know. Scarlett and Lucas are on their team's swim and dive team, and Lucas is an Olympic champion. Scarlett is struggling to overcome some PTSD from an injury that she acquired the year before. The two of them get together, and it's good. It's really good. When their mutual friend finds out that they're actually both into the same thing, she actually jokingly is like, you two should just get together. And she's kind of emotionally detached from it anyway, and so she encourages it, but only in a hookup sense. I think she feels weird about them like actually fully getting together, which they're gonna fall in love. This one was really fun. I gave it 4 stars. And the last book that I read in February was Cerulean Truth by Saoirse Raic. Saoirse is so wonderful. She is actually a friend of mine, and this book is good, and it's big. Basically, our main character, Emma, is a lawyer who ends up being like, she has magical powers and she doesn't know it, and someone from the magical world sees her, an instance where she almost dies and her powers kind of come out. She like doesn't really remember what happened. I think she blocks it out or she makes up an excuse for it. And so she gets pulled into this whole world that she has no idea anything about. And so she is learning how to harness her powers, which is kind of uncomfortable and a little embarrassing for her because she's essentially learning alongside the children in the magical world, because nobody usually makes it into their adult life without some sort of something happening to indicate they have powers. One of the two guys who helped discover her and pull her into this world becomes her mentor, and let's just say there's a lot of tension going on between them. So this one is really good. Emma and James are wonderful together, and it's a lot of angst. It's a lot of angst, and it's a slow burn. Like, you gotta get a good bit through this book before the burn is happening. So I really enjoyed it. I would recommend. I gave Cerulean Truth 4 stars. Okay, now on to March, which may just be my favorite reading month of the year so far. Actually, scratch that, it definitely was my favorite reading month of the year so far. I feel like I've been on such a high going into April because everything that I read in March was just so good. So to start, I about fell out of my seat, fell over, dropped to the floor when I realized that I received an arc of Story of My Life by Lucy Score, and this one was so good. It was pitched as a book that is Gilmore Girls meets Schitt's Creek, and I cannot come up with any better example to explain this book than that. So basically, Hazel is a thriving like romance novelist, and she's experiencing writer's block, which is kind of sounding like a plot twist, actually. And one night, she's like going through a divorce, she's like at her rock bottom, and one night she just like stumbles across this house for sale in this really cute small town, and she reads this cute story of this like guy who did this really good deed, and she's just like, this is exactly what I need. This is what I need to get my inspiration back. So she on a whim buys the house and moves to this small town, and her best friend totes along, and it is absolutely everything. It is absolutely everything. Like, I can't. It was so good. Cam is the love interest, and he is stubborn. He's like, I don't want to like her as much as I do kind of vibes. He's very much Luke Danes. And I cannot recommend this book more if you love romance books, and if you have read Lucy Score and enjoyed any of her books before. I think you would really, really love this one. This one was 4.5 stars for me. I think the only reason I even docked a half star was just because it was a little long. And then next, keeping it strong, I read First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. This one, if you don't know, is inspired by Sleepless in Seattle. So basically the story is this single mom, and her daughter thinks that she needs to find love, and she's lonely and sad, and so she calls into this radio show hosted by Aidan Valentine one night, and the mom is in bed and she hears her daughter on the phone, and she's like, who is my daughter talking to this late at night? And so she goes in there and she realizes her teenage daughter is talking to a full-grown man, and she's like, who are you talking to my teenage daughter at night? Turns out she was on the radio live on air, and it goes viral. There's this whole thing because he talks to her for a little while, and she didn't realize that her daughter thought she was lonely and could pick up on that, and so essentially she goes on the show and kind of becomes a co-host, and the whole thing is they're going to help her find her man. But her and Aidan have such good chemistry, such good banter. They're so attracted to each other. So there's a lot of really fun tension elements going on here. It's just super cute. I loved it. This one was easy 5 stars. So the next one I read was called Ladies in Hating, and I actually read it on Kindle via NetGalley. I received an ARC through that site, so I don't actually have a physical copy of it, and my Kindle is upstairs, and I don't feel like going to get it right now. But I thought Ladies in Hating was really good. It's a historical sapphic romance, and basically they both... Man, I'm reading a lot of books about writers this year. I'm starting to realize they're both storytellers. One has been an author for longer, and they both use pen names, so they don't know who each other are. And she's finding that this other person writing books is copying a lot of her plot devices. So you realize throughout the story that they're more connected than they think they are, and they basically get forced together through the scheming of someone they're both working with. And anyway, there's a lot of angst, a little spice, and it was just really cute. I like reading historical romances every now and then, and I hadn't in a while, and so I saw that one and I was like, I need to give that one a try. So I gave that one 3.75 stars. And then next I read The Wedding Menu. This one was absolutely 5 stars. I could not put it down. There's something so enticing about a dual timeline romance where you're flipping back and forth and you don't know what happened, and you're like building up to this obvious moment in the past timeline, and you're trying to piece it together, and there's so much that's unspoken because of that, and you're rooting for the characters because all you know them in present is their present selves, and you're like, you both want each other, why are you not together? And then you keep flipping back to the past, and it's like clearly building up to a point, but also they want each other then, so you're like, what has happened? It drives me crazy, and I love it so much. I eat it up. This is probably going to remain one of my favorite books of 2025. I really, really loved it. Our main character, Emily, she is newly engaged to her high school sweetheart. She's got these best friends, like her life is going perfect, it's going swimmingly, it's going amazingly, except you start realizing that things aren't so perfect with her high school sweetheart. He's kind of bored with her. He's worried that they've settled down too soon and they need to see what else is out there, or he's forever gonna resent her. So he proposes an open relationship when he moves away. She's not for it, but she's like, I'm gonna let him do what he needs to do. She kind of makes herself miserable to try and make it work with him. And along the way, she like meets this guy. Well, she met the guy in the very beginning. I'm kind of rambling about this, sorry, but they have an instant connection, but obviously she's taken. She's spoken for. She's like, we could be friends, but like that's it. You can't try and sleep with me. And they just have the best banter, and it clearly is building up to a moment where it's like, is she gonna get with him instead of her estranged almost fiance? My camera has died and my memory has given out all in the course of me just trying to film this video. It's fine, we're back, we're good. Wait, the wedding menu was 5 stars. And the last book that I read in March, oh my gosh, so this is the last book. Yeah, this is the last book for this video. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I don't even know what to say about this one. I definitely gave it 5 stars, I will start there. There is something so nostalgically magical about diving back into a world that you fell in love with as a teenager and getting to discover new stories that take place in it. Like there's just, it's an unbeaten feeling. It is so cool. I can't explain it, but it like gives me just this, it just makes my heart so happy. That being said, this one actually ripped my heart out a little bit too. If you don't know, it is Haymitch's Games, the 50th Hunger Games. And I don't want to say too much honestly because this story is just really special. There is so much complexity to his character. It makes you realize so much. There was so much lore drop in this. It was just magical. I don't know how else to explain it. 5 stars, 100% 5 stars. So I know we're into April. Just like looking ahead, it is only April 12th when I'm filming this, and I have already read 1, 2, 3, 4 books in April so far, so I do feel like April's gonna be a pretty good month as well. I'm kind of powering through my TBR right now. I've got a little TBR card over there and I'm really trying to dwindle it down. I don't know why, I've just been in such a knock it out mood, and it also just feels really satisfying to have books, you know, that have been sitting on my shelves for so long finally get read or get donated or get sold. I do have a Pango store and I have a lot of books in it right now, by the way, so I will link that up in the caption. If you watch this whole thing, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for giving it a watch. I think you're amazing, and I want to know if we share any reads in common for the year so far, if you agreed with me or disagreed with me, and I hope you're having a great reading month so far in April. It's spring, everything is blooming, and the weather is starting to get so pretty, and it just has me in such a romance mood lately. Yeah, so that's all I've got right now. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, or afternoon, or evening, and we'll talk soon. Bye guys.